Hey babes, it's me, Dr. Tiff. I want to ask you something, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable, okay? But just be honest with me. Be honest with yourself, actually. Have you ever picked a fight or pulled away with drawn love from someone just to see how they would react? Be honest. Or maybe, have you ever ignored a text on purpose to see if they would text you again or maybe pick up the phone and call? Have you ever withheld how you really feel? When they ask you what's wrong and you say, nothing, I'm all right, ain't nothing wrong, just to see if they're going to notice, if they're going to ask you again and again and again and pull it out of you. Have you ever done that? Have you ever started building a case in your head so that when they finally do mess up, or lie, or cheat, or do what you thought they were going to do, you say, see, I knew you was going to do that. I knew you were going to leave. I knew you were going to be this same person that everybody else has been. Have you ever done that, sis? If you're nodding, or if you're sinking down in your seat, today's episode is for you because we're talking about the ways that we test people in order for them to either prove their love for us or to prove that they were going to leave us anyway. And then we call it intuition when it really is self-sabotage. If this sounds like you need to go ahead and pull up a chair, sis, and let's get this party started. Hi, I'm Dr. Tiff, your relationship transformation coach. I've spent the past 20 years working with high-achieving women just like you who are crushing it in every area of their lives, everywhere except their relationships. And look, I get it. Finding the one ain't easy, and relationships are hard. But you know what's even harder? Cycling through the bad ones, or worse, staying in relationships when you already know they're not a good fit. You want a relationship of ease, uncomplicated, someone to love you down, but instead you've been suffering through bad dates, sexual incompatibility, and someone who might be good for somebody, but not for you. And if we're really being honest, you know that deep down, the work that really needs to be done starts and ends with you. If you're done wasting time in dead-end relationships and sick of looking for, chasing after, or trying to convince somebody to be the one, and you're ready to become the one, then baby, you're in the right place. So prop your feet and let's clink glasses, because I'm giving you the tea and the tips to fix your relationships. Let's go. Hey guys, it's me, Dr. Tiff, and you're listening to Fix Your Relationships podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that you joined me today, and I hope that you will continue to join me after today, because some of y'all might get red for filth. I'm telling you that now, so you can do whatever you need to do, but I'm telling you, if this is you, okay, if any of the things that I said in the intro sound like you, get yourself some chamomile tea, put on your fluffy socks, get your weighted blanket, and get ready to self-soothe, okay? Because I need you to sit with this information, digest it, and talk to yourself about it so that we can make some changes so you can get the actual love that you want, that you desire, that you need, and that you deserve, okay? That's ultimately the goal. So today's episode is a little tender, it's a little prickly, because I'm not just talking about what people do to you. We're talking about what you might be doing to yourself. There's a verse in Proverbs that I think about a lot in this context. It's Proverbs 19:3, and it says, "A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet the heart rages against the Lord." A person's folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord. In other words, we make choices, okay? We do things, and then couple of things I want to say about this, actually. We actually go into relationship with people. We do things in those relationships, and we may be sabotaging those relationships, or we're just making messy choices. And we do all of those things. Those are our choices, by the way. Okay. And then we start praying to God, asking him to bless it. We're asking him to bless a mess. How raggedy is that? Okay. A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet they want to blame God. Okay. Their heart rages against the Lord. They want to blame God for the choices that they made. In other words, we make messy choices. We act from fear and old patterns. We sabotage situations, and then we turn around and be like, God, why is this happening to me? Why can't I find a good man, a good woman? Why can't I find love? Why do I keep finding losers and cheaters and liars? Why is every man that I fall in love with, why are they already attached to somebody else? Now, this is not to blame you, okay? This is about honesty. This is to challenge you to be honest. God is not up there sabotaging your relationships for fun, okay? Sometimes it's not that men are trash. Sometimes it's not that, other broads are crazy. It's not that everybody is toxic. Sometimes it's I don't trust good love. Now, I talked to you guys a few weeks ago. I talked to you about chemistry versus chaos and sometimes how we gravitate toward chaos thinking that spiciness is chemistry when it's not. It's just familiar. What we are calling chemistry is actually familiarity, okay? Sometimes it's the I don't trust good love, so I keep running little tests to prove that it's not going to last. And then I'm surprised, shocked, and bewildered when it actually doesn't last. And I knew I was right all along. No, you sabotaged it all along. Now, let's talk about what I mean by testing people, okay? Just to make it plain, okay? Just to make it plain, testing people to prove that they're going to leave anyway. I'm not talking about being discerning. We ask God for discernment to give us clarity, to let us know, to make sure that we are seeing things for what they are and not just seeing what we want to see. I'm not talking about that type of discernment. I'm not talking about healthy vetting. Sometimes if someone else knows the person that you're about to date, it would behoove you to ask about them or vet the person, especially in 2026, honey. I am talking about here, though, the little ways that we poke at people, pick fights and arguments. I'm talking about the way that sometimes we'll pull away just to see if somebody's going to chase after you or ask you what's wrong or make sure that you're okay. I'm talking about the way that we withhold, and it could be withholding information. It could be withholding sex. I've seen that too in my practice, withholding just to see if they're going to confirm your worst fear. And here's what it might look like, starting an argument out of nowhere when things are really, really calm. It's just, things are going good. And here you go picking a fight because calm, like I said before, feels unfamiliar. Guys, that episode, if you want to go back and listen to it, and I highly, highly suggest that you do, that is episode 75, Chemistry or Chaos. 3 simple questions to know for sure. If you're feeling like, it might be a little chaotic, but I like it. You might want to go back and listen to that episode. Testing people to prove that they were going to leave you anyway might also look like not responding to a text you want to respond to. You see the text. You're like, oh, he called me back. You'll see the text. You want to respond, but instead you're going to play a game. Okay, you want to see if they text you twice, double text, and prove that they want to be with you, prove that they care about how you're doing and how you're feeling. Maybe it looks like withholding what you want, need, and desire, and then getting mad when they don't meet your expectation, when they don't guess, when they can't read your mind. Well, if they really loved me, they would just know that nobody is a mind reader, okay? They aren't. It might even look like ghosting a little. Now, not fully disappearing, but pulling back your energy, your presence, your affection, just to see if they'll notice, see if they will chase you, see if they'll fight for you. It might be like keeping a scorecard, in your head where, they miss your call. And so now you're like, see, I knew you was going to forget about me. You didn't answer the phone when I call. You must be with somebody else. Or if they have an off day, maybe they just are in a bad mood because something happened at work, but you're taking that as, see, you're just like everybody else. I'm trying to do something nice for you. You're just laid back. You're not even engaged. You don't even want to talk. Underneath all of this is a narrative. And that narrative is, if I don't test you, I don't feel safe. If I don't push you, I don't believe that this relationship is real. If I don't make you jump through these hoops, I can't trust that you won't leave. The problem is, this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You test their patience, you test their stamina, their peace until they are exhausted. And when they finally say, you know what, sis, I cannot do this anymore. I'm out. You say, see, I knew you would leave. Now, before you start spiraling in shame, I need you to breathe, okay? Just breathe. Breathe with me. It is not about beating you up. This is about you seeing what's happening so you can choose how you proceed differently. Most of the women that I work with don't wake up saying, you know what, I would really like to sabotage my relationship today. They don't wake up saying that. Okay. The testing is coming from three places usually. It's coming from old wounds. And we talked about this ad nauseum in More Love, Less Hustle. I really hope that those of you that made it, this resonates with you because you're hearing it over and over again. Old wounds, times that you were blindsided, abandoned, cheated on, emotionally dropped with no warning. Those old wounds creep back up in us and cause us to kind of test people to make sure that that doesn't happen again. It can also come from just unreliable people growing up. Okay. It could come from parents or authority figures who were hot and cold, who weren't always there, who always maybe were on edge. You never knew what you were going to get. You were walking on eggshells, all of that kind of stuff. It could be unhealed, ladies. It could be unhealed betrayal. Perhaps you trusted someone once very deeply. And this ends up being a lot of the women that I work with. You trusted someone with your whole heart. You love them so deeply and they hurt you badly. Now your body is like, you know what? Never again. I'm not putting myself through that again. I will not allow myself to get that close to anybody like that again. And I'm not going to do this again without some sort of security clearance. Okay. They are going to have to go through multiple security checks in order to be with me. And your nervous system, your brain has decided, you know what? Next time we're going to get ahead of this pain. I'm not going through this anymore. I'm going to get ahead of it. I won't be blindsided again. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar to you? We're going to force people to prove that they are safe, that they're safe for us. We're going to force people to prove that they're safe, even if we have to create drama to do it. And it's not evil. I don't want you to feel like you are evil for doing this. This is a survival strategy that you've created for yourself. But here's the thing. Survival strategies do not build healthy relationships. Survival strategies do not build healthy relationships. They protect you short term and they're going to destroy connection long term. Okay, let's pause and bring this back. Hey babes, taking a quick break to talk to you about the One Within 30-Day Reset, my one-of-a-kind guided journaling experience. If you are someone who is determined to improve your relationships in 2026, but also want to make sure that you don't neglect yourself in the process, I'd love to see you inside this program. I designed the One Within 30-Day Reset for women just like you, strong, hyper-independent, crushing it at work, living your dreams. But if we're really being honest, things are a little lacking in the love department. You know that there's probably some self-work that you need to do. Maybe you've been putting it off because you're not quite sure where to start. Well, that's where the One Within steps in. If you can spare just 5 to 10 minutes a day, I'll help you identify the patterns and triggers holding you back in your relationships, help you to set better boundaries and end the cycles of self-sabotage and missed red flags. I'll help you embrace the personal growth strategies necessary to stop making the same mistakes over and over again and to start calling in that love we both know you deserve. And remember, this is a guided experience. I'm not just handing out blank sheets of paper and telling you to scribble your hopes and dreams. Each day, I'm providing you with thought-provoking prompts designed to really tap into what's kept you feeling stuck in your relationships. In addition, you're going to get daily video messages from me, get full access to our private community, group coaching calls, bonuses, and so much more. If you're ready to sign up or just need more information, head on over to drtiffanyhenry.com/theonewithin. Now back to the show. Bring this back to reality, okay? You guys know every week I tell you to bring pen and paper. I hope you have it. And for those of you that are driving, I want you to listen in and pick this back up when you get home or to your destination. But I do want everybody doing this work, okay? I have 3 questions for you today that you need to be asking yourself. Question number 1, when I'm starting to feel close to someone, what is my go-to way of testing them? Okay. If this stuff that we've been talking about today rings true for you, what is your go-to way? Because you got one. It's a pattern. Okay. So I know you got one. Something that you do that tests them to make sure that they are there for you, that they're going to be there, or to see if they're going to leave. Okay. And be very specific. Do you pick fights when there's nothing really to fight about? Do you go quiet and see if they notice? Do you give them the silent treatment, pull away, ignore them, not talk to them, and just to see if they're going to be like, what's wrong? What can I do? Did I do something? Are you mad at me? Are you doing that? Do you demand that they read your mind? I have said it before and I will say it again. Men are not built to read our minds. We are complicated creatures. We women are complicated creatures. They do not have the gift of reading our minds. We have to tell them, okay? They can't assume. And we shouldn't expect them to, all right? Maybe do you flirt? Do you flirt with other people to see if they get jealous? Write it down. What your tests look like, write it down. What you do repeatedly. You know what it is, girl. All right, question number 2. What am I secretly afraid will happen if I don't test them? What do you think is going to happen if you decide to relax into this relationship and not text them? Deep down, dig deep. What do you really think will happen if you don't do this? Okay. Deep down, is it that, if I don't test them, they'll get comfortable and leave? If I don't test them, they're going to leave. If I don't test them, I'll be blindsided again. Again, this is a protective mechanism, a protective strategy that we sometimes use. We just don't want the same thing that happened to us before to happen again. Okay. If I don't test them, I'll fall too hard and lose myself. A lot of the reasons why we do this is so that we don't have to endure the pain of the past. We don't have to repeat something that has happened to us before. And the problem is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it ends up going in that direction anyway because you've pushed them away. All right? Name that fear. Name what you are scared will happen. All right, last question, question 3. What evidence do you have that the testing that you've been doing has actually protected you? And what evidence do you have that it's hurt you? How do you know that the testing, all the stuff that you've been doing, all the hoops you've been having them jump through, how do you know that that's protecting you? And what evidence do you have that perhaps is even hurting you? This is huge. This is a big one. Have the tests actually saved you from any kind of heartache, anguish, pain? Has it saved you from any of that? Or have you pushed away people who might have shown up if you had let them? Be honest and do not censor yourself in this, okay? This is your work. It's between you and you, okay? Your journal. Here's something that I want you to work through this week, though. Instead of testing, I want you to try telling. Instead of testing, you're going to try telling. Just one situation. One, okay? Not 10, just one. When you feel the urge to start a random argument, when you feel the urge to pull away just to see if they notice, if you feel the urge to leave some sort of cryptic message on their phone or make them guess what's wrong, what I need you to do, this is a small shift for you. What I need you to do is pause, and I need you to ask yourself, not them, I need you to ask yourself, what is it that I really need in this moment? Okay? What do I actually need right now? Ask yourself, what do I actually want to know? What am I really getting at? What do I want to know? Do I want to know that they love me? Is that really what I want to know? Do I want to feel needed and wanted and seen? Do I want emotional support? What is it that I'm actually wanting in this moment? How is it that I want to be reaffirmed? And then practice saying that very plainly. Let me give you some examples of what that might look like. Instead of ghosting a little or pulling back and trying to see, if they're going to notice, what I want you to say is, hey, listen, baby. Hey there. When you go quiet for days, it really makes me anxious. Can we talk about our communication? Because this is really unsettling for me. Okay. How easy is that? Instead of testing their loyalty with drama, what if you said, sometimes I get scared you'll leave if things get hard, because that's happened to me in the past. I'm really working on that, but I want to talk about how we handle conflict, right? Because that's going to happen. We're going to have conflict. I want to talk about how we handle it because it really does make me scared. I get very frightened and feel like you're going to leave. I need to work through that, my stuff, but can we talk about it? Done. That's it. All right. Here's another one. Instead of seeing if they're going to chase after you, if you, pull away or disappear, what if you said, you know what? I would appreciate feeling prioritized, without having to create some sort of crisis first. Is that going to feel vulnerable? Yes, it will. Will it feel like jumping out of a plane without a parachute? Absolutely, yes. But that is where real connection lives. Testing keeps you in control, but it also keeps you alone. Okay? You feel very lonely telling, okay, what I'm asking you to do instead of testing. I'm asking you to say words to actually articulate how you're feeling. It does risk your heart, but it's the only way to find out who's actually safe to love you. I want to circle back. Let me circle back to that verse that I gave you at the top of the show. Proverbs 19:3, a person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord. Sometimes we pray, God, why is this not working? Why can't I find a good man? Why can't I find a good woman? And God is like, baby girl, I sent you several, okay? I sent you some, but you tested them into exhaustion. The good news is that you do not have to keep doing that, okay? God is not mad at you. He wants to heal that part of you that thinks you have to constantly prove people are untrustworthy just to feel safe. If you're ready to do this work for real, not just in this, 20-minute episode or however long I've been talking to y'all, I don't know. Not just one episode, but for 30 days with guidance and community and support. That's exactly what the One Within 30-Day Reset is for. Inside TOW, we own your patterns like testing, like pushing people away, like sabotaging. We go through all of that, and I help you own those patterns. We get to an understanding of where those things originated, where they come from, and then we start gently shifting how you show up in love so you can actually receive the thing that you've been praying for. You can get all the details on the One Within 30-Day Reset and join by going to drtiffanyhenry.com/theonewithin. That's drtiffanyhenry.com/theonewithin. All right, babes, I need you to know you are not crazy for wanting to feel safe. You're just overdue for strategies that don't destroy what you're asking God to bless. Okay? We made an agreement. This week, less testing, more telling. You're not here to hustle for love, babes. You're here to be loved fully as a woman that we all know you're becoming. I'm so happy that you joined me today, and I hope that, the read wasn't too harsh. You guys know that I love you and I'm rooting for you, and I cannot wait to continue this journey with you, whether that's here on the podcast, in our Facebook group at FYRcommunity.com. FYR stands for Fix Your Relationships, by the way. If you go over to FYRcommunity.com, you'll be able to join there, or join me in the One Within 30-Day Reset. You got 30 days with me. I mean, it's going to be great. drtiffanyhenry.com/theonewithin. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Ciao. Hey, babe, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. My goal with this podcast is to bless you with information that helps you fix those relationships that are most important to you, but not before you do the self-work needed to make sure that those relationships thrive. If this episode was exactly what you needed, then guess what? Somebody else probably needs it too. So do me and them a favor. Please share this episode with your good girlfriend and let her know about the podcast. And while you're at it, hop on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. This really helps to grow the podcast and puts it right in front of other women who are desperate to work on their relationships and themselves. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to join our community of like-minded women all on a journey to become the one. You can sign up for free at becometheone.myflowdesk.com/email. I know that's a lot, so just go on over to the show notes and click that link there. Thanks again for listening to Fix Your Relationships with Dr. Tiff. I'll see you right back here next week.